Hello, people of the universe. It's I, 3 here for another PO battle. Oh, wait, that's right. I can't say that anymore. This is a Wi-Fi battle now. That entire week was PO. Now, since it's Saturday, I decided to, to do another Wi-Fi battle. So, here's the thing. I made an RU team, and this is probably one of my better teams, actually, because this team has an Excel gore, for Christ's sake. And this thing in the lead is just amazing. It has Final Gamut, Spikes, and all that good stuff to make it a good lead. And so here it goes. I decided to start off with first layer of spikes because it'll be very beneficial, Christ, for the remainder of the game. I go for the focus blast. Sadly, it misses. Not that it really mattered because I had two Pokemon to take it out anyway. But it would have been nice to see how much I would have done. So I could have either gone to Lilligant or my Gallade because Gallade has Leaf Blade, and this Lilligant is a special sweeper, so I decided to go into Lilligant. And predicting the switch, I used the sleep powder to get things sleeping. And I really hate how Smogon introduces all these clauses, including the sleep clause, because I know it's supposed to not make things too cheap, but like I just like putting things to sleep. I just like sleep powder, sleep powder, sleep powder. The more he switches and stuff, so that's fun. I don't know why they put that as a clause, but whatever. So since he's asleep, I decided to put up a few Corvid answers, but he actually wakes earlier than I expected, which is pretty cheap. I managed to get off the Stone Edge. And knowing that I'm probably faster than he is, he switches out into his Cresselia, which he predicts that he'll take the pedal dance nicely, but in reality, this Lilligant is actually gonna take it out with one hit to the face. Wow, man. Either that Cresselia had no special defensive investment at all, or this Lilligant's just that boss to take anything out. I believe I used only two Quiver Dances though. But since I'm locked into Pedal Dance, I have no choice but to stay in. And either way, if I wasn't locked into Pedal Dance, I probably would have just left the Lilligant in because I already have plus two Quiver Dances already. So it dies to an Iron Head, and yeah. So I send out this Boomy, the Steelix, and Steelix is awesome, man. Like if actually you'll see that in the next battle, but he switched out into Spiritomb for God knows why. I guess he wanted to keep his Durant for the remainder of the game. And I really had nothing else to do, so I just put up the rocks. Rocks are always good. If there's always if there ever is dang it, if there is ever an opportunity to set up rocks, go ahead and do so. He will-o-wisp me, which is probably the reason that why this Gyro Ball did such a pitiful amount. But knowing that it cuts the attack in half, even if I didn't get burned, that Gyro Ball would have done nothing to this thing. So either he's a very defensive Spiritomb, or Steelix doesn't have any attack investment in it, so that's probably why. And so he goes into that thing. I roar it out and go back into the Spiritomb. Now at this point, I thought he was probably going to switch back into the Sand Slash, and so and yeah, he was either going to switch out to the Sand Slash, staying with the Spiritomb. And so at this turn, I believe I actually switch out. Yeah, I switch out into my God. What is this thing's name again? Never mind. I'll just call it Chrysalis for this whole game. So I switched to Chrysalis, predicting the Sand Slash switch, but I guess he just decided to stay in just because he thought that I might roar him out again. So I go into that thing. Since he didn't switch out, I just thought I might as well put it up to Toxic because Toxicing things are very good, and Toxic is just very beneficial because badly poisons and it forces people to switch out because they don't want to be killed by Toxic. So with that being said, he will-o-wisp me, which doesn't really matter because I don't really think I have a... No, I don't actually. I don't have a single physical move on this thing. So I go for the Ice Beam, see how much it does, and it does a good amount to where I would be able to kill him with two Ice Beams. But I found this dude on Smogon, and he messaged me saying that he misclicked on that rest. I'm not really sure if that really mattered or not because rest was beneficial on that turn anyway because he was poisoned plus he was on low health. So I guess that would have been good for stalling, but hey, who knows. Since he was asleep, I decided to switch out into Gallade. He either could have stayed in hoping to wake up on the next turn or something, but he decided to switch to Hitmonlee. And I guess he predicted that I would use some kind of Psychic type move on it, and then he switched into his Omastar. But I actually wanted to switch out into Dusknoir to take a fighting type move if that's what he was going to do on that turn. And so, with all that being done, I switched again back to the Glade because Dusknoir can't really do much to this thing anyway. So, yeah, I go into the Glade, and this Glade is running Life Orb, which is pretty awesome. And this thing has also Swords Dance, the Leaf Blade, and Shadow Sneak. So this is a very good moveset for this thing. Oh yeah, and it has close combat also. So I set up two Swords Dances, knowing that this thing won't really do much to me. Plus, all he's gonna do is just set up hazards. But it doesn't really matter because I have Chrysalis in here, and he can just rapid spin all those hazards away. So luckily I don't get a burn on the Scald, and I managed to get off the Leaf Blade, which is great because if that Scald burned me, I think that would have really changed the outcome of this battle. That would have really sucked, trust me. And so he goes out to Sandslash. I guess knowing that the Sandslash is probably the best thing to take any physical hit because Sandslash, knowing Sandslash, this thing has a lot of defense. And so either way, I have +4 attack. It can't survive a Leaf Blade. It just can't. Nothing can survive Gallade, man. You can't mess around with Gallade. Gallade's just, he's just that boss with the swords, man. You can't mess with this thing. So he goes into the Spiritomb, and knowing how little Gyro Ball did last time, I was kinda sorta scared that this Leaf Blade would not kill it. But luckily it did because I guess it makes sense because I have +4 attack. Plus this thing is just it's a Gallade, man. It's a Gallade. Gallade's just freaking awesome. And so luckily for me, I managed to set up hazards at the most right times because I managed to get off this Duran out of my face. So either way, I'm pretty sure I would have outsped it and just hit it with whatever move I had. But on this turn, he has Hitmonlee, which is actually his last, and so instead of actually attacking me, he goes ahead and uses Endure, probably just to stall. And but it actually turns out that he's not gonna stall. It turns out that he has the Liachi Berry, which actually resists attack, which I guess is a very effective strategy for Hitmonlee because Hitmonlee is a very powerful thing, especially with high jump kick. But he kills off the Gallade with the Stone Edge. And knowing that if I go into Dusknoir, he won't really be able to hit me with a stab move, so I just switched into Dusknoir, and it doesn't really matter anyway because this Dusknoir is very defensive. But knowing that he has a +1 on the Liachi Berry, it doesn't really matter. The Cyclops himself will be able to finish it out. And so yeah, that was that battle. This is actually a double header, so there's gonna be two battles in this video. That was that battle, and now this is the second battle. This battle, when I first saw the opposing team, I was just I was just crapping out rocks, man. Look at that team. That team is probably the most cheapest team I've ever seen just by looking at it. And so either way, I think I would have done a good job, but let's just see how it goes then. Excelgor is always the lead, always. There's never a situation where Excelgor isn't the lead. And so, I guess he predicted that Excelgor would be the lead, which is probably the reason why he went out to the Bravery first. And so, I couldn't really do much, because if I set up spikes, I knew he was going to kill me with whatever the heck he threw at me. And so I just decided to use the final gamut, see if it would kill it. But it got it to the point where it didn't have enough power to use the substitute. So that's a good thing because substitute and bravery don't go they go well together. But if he's the opposing opponent, then that's never a good situation. He goes for superpower, but luckily this Steelix, man, this Steelix has 252 EVs in its defense. It just takes anything. Even bravery can throw at it. So I finish it off with the Gyro Ball. And this Steelix, man, wow, it can take anything, especially superpowers. But and so here goes into Samurai. I probably should have predicted this taunt because knowing that most Samurats have the taunt in the first place, I probably just should have went for the Earthquake or something. But yeah, whatever. So knowing that he can't really do much, I just switch out into the Knights here, and he predicted my switch and goes for another taunt, which means I can't set up Swords Dance, but which isn't really much of a big deal anyway. But he actually outspeeds me, which is a surprise because normally Gallade has a base speed of 90. I never knew Samurai had a higher base speed than that. But either way, it doesn't really matter because this Leaf Blade actually manages to kill the Samurai, which is surprising because I thought Samurai had decent amount of defense. Either that had no defensive investment at all, or Samurai just plain out sucks. So he goes into Whimsicott, and my goodness, he managed to encore with me into Leaf Blade. So yeah, man, this Whimsicott probably one of the most cheapest Whimsicott I've ever seen. It has Encore and Stun Spore and Leech Seed and I don't even think it has an attacking move. But then again, not really a lot of Whimsicots have a lot of attacking moves. So knowing that I'm just Encore into Leaf Blade, I switch out into Chrysalis, and I'm still trying to remember this thing's name. Wow. Oh well, I'll look it up after these battles. So he stun spores me, which is really much of a big deal because if this thing has like Giga Drain or something, that's kind of an attacking move, it can't really hurt me because this thing has a lot of special investment in it anyway. So that's what he does. He paralyzed me. Used Leech Seed, and so he's just getting leftovers and Leech Seed on every single turn. And I guess yeah, that Whimsicott probably had no attacking move whatsoever, so he decided to switch. And I kind of predicted that switch. He was either going to stay in or switch out, so I just went for the Toxic on that turn. I could have Ice Beamed, but hey, I just wanted to Toxic something. And so, this Cacturn is very, it's actually very physically based because this Cacturn has Swords Dance and Seed Bomb, which is actually kind of rare because I don't think I've ever seen a Cacturn that's physically physical sweeper before. I go for the Ice Beam, knowing that Cacturna has very crappy defenses. I was hoping that the Ice Beam would kill it, but it got to that point where the leftovers and Leech Seed would go to a point where the Toxic wouldn't kill him. So that sucks. That really does. Um, Not that it was a big deal. I could have just sent in something else to take care of it, but it would have been nicer just to get rid of it. Plus, the Seed Bomb managed to kill the Chrysalis in this turn. Oh yeah, Cryogonal. God. He's one of those Pokemon that I just really don't know the name of. And yeah, he's one of those Gen 5 Pokemon that are just new and I don't know the name of them. But the Toxic manages to get out the Tech Cacturn and down he goes. So knowing that he was probably going to switch into whatever the heck, I just go into Lilligant. And luckily the Stun Spore misses and my Sleep Powder doesn't. So that's pretty much just trading off status moves, and the Stun Spore managed to miss. So now that he's asleep, I can just Corporate Dance my way to victory here, and this Lilligant's really gonna put up some work in this battle, as you'll see. But again, just like the Hitmonlee, he manages to wake up on the flipping next turn because Sleep Powder did. I don't know, something about Sleep Powder makes Pokemon wake up earlier than expected. So I don't know. I mean, so. He used Stun Spore again. This time it doesn't miss, which it didn't really matter all that much because even though this Whimsicott's faster than me, with even if I wasn't paralyzed, I'm still using quite a lot of Quiver Dances. And at this situation, I could have either just stayed in, hoping that the Encore would end um, earlier, because I looked it up on Swagger, and it's actually 2 to 6 turns the Encore goes around. So I just stayed in, hoping that the Encore would end early. And luckily for me, it does on this next turn. I managed to get off another Quiver Dance, and yeah, the Encore ends, and I managed to get off a Petal Dance with no Power Hacks. Thank God for that, because that would have really sucked. I never really got to see what kind of Golurk this was, actually. It definitely wasn't a... Well, actually, never mind. Even if it was a defensive variant, it wouldn't have taken that Petal Dance, because you can't mess with Lilligant, man. You can't mess with Gallade. You can't mess with Lilligant. These two, man, the physical attackers, the special attackers, you can't mess with this thing. If you don't have a Lilligant in your RU team, I ask why. Because this thing is probably the best special sweeper in the RU metagame. Because, oh my gosh, own tempo plus Quiver Dance plus Petal Dance equals a monstrosity on the RU metagame. It managed to survive another U-turn, get off another Petal Dance, and even though it was resisted, it still managed to take out the Whimsicott in one hit. So I'm telling you, man, this Lilligant, no para hacks so far. That's good, and it manages to get off the Whimsicott and still live from the Life Orb recoil, and that wins me the game. So thanks for watching, guys. Those were the first two RU battles, and so far they haven't lost a single one. And so yeah, it's a pretty awesome team, man. So thanks for watching. I hope you actually enjoyed this team. If you have any changes to this team that you want to make, or some flaws in this team, you can go ahead and put it in the comment section below, or just leave a like on this video if you want. So I'll see you guys on Sunday with a battle with the Netherlands. Toodles.